A hazard is any source of potential damage, harm, or adverse health effects on something or someone. Basically, a hazard is the potential for harm or an adverse effect. For example, to people as health effects, to organizations as property or equipment losses, or to the environment. Good day, science people. How are you all doing? Today, we will tackle all about the different types of hazards. It's important to know this particular topic in order to differentiate a hazard to the other. But first, always remember that a hazard will only become a disaster when it causes destruction to properties and the lives of people. You can include animals and other living things there as well. Let's start. Natural hazards are naturally occurring physical phenomena caused either by rapid or slow onsets of events, which can be geological, hydrometeorological, or biological. These sum up the categories of different natural hazards. Stated in its name, natural hazards are hazards that originate from natural causes. Through man-made activities and/or hazards can influence these as well. On to the next one. Geological natural hazards, such as earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, are triggered by activities taking place in the Earth's interior. Gravitational natural hazards are defined as landslides, rockfall, debris flows, or avalanches. Since rock, mud, or snow masses slide down the slope due to gravity, they can be caused by earthquakes or by extreme weather conditions. These type of hazards originate from the Earth's crust. Some examples of this hazard are earthquake, volcanic eruption, tsunamis, landslide, and avalanches, as mentioned earlier. Some notable events of these occurring in our planet is the Tokyo earthquake and tsunami merely a decade ago.
It's from these vantage points on hills and in tall buildings that incredible footage was captured.
Next is the hydrometeorological hazard, also known as atmospheric hazards. This type of hazard originate from atmospheric conditions and compositions. Hydrometeorological hazards are greatly influenced by climate change and extreme weather events. Examples of these are floods, tornadoes, typhoon, blizzards, and storm surges. Hydrometeorological conditions also can be a factor in other hazards such as landslide, wildland fires, locust plagues, epidemics, and in the transport and dispersal of toxic substances and volcanic eruption material. Next up, we have the biological hazards. These hazards form from microorganisms around an environment. It could be created in a laboratory or even just a natural reaction or evolution for a microorganism species. Examples of this hazard are harmful plants, molds, spoiled foods which bacteria can habitate on, sewage, also an environment fit for sources of infections, and animal excrements. Sources of biological hazards may include bacteria, viruses, insects, plants, birds, animals, and humans. These sources can cause a variety of health effects ranging from skin irritation and allergies to infections. In our state right now, we can consider that COVID-19 was once a biological hazard that altered our lifestyle and made a biological disaster. Hazards can also interconnect with other hazards. For instance, a typhoon can make a soft soil hills produce a landslide. Also, an earthquake with its power can produce a tsunami as an aftershock. We can say that natural hazards can influence one another, and that natural hazards has different kinds of form that we thought it had. Next up are the anthropogenic hazards that will be explained by the one and only Jupeth Sulapas.
Good day everyone, I'm Jupeth Sulapas. I'm going to present anthropogenic hazards. It is a man-made hazard and entirely or predominantly caused by human activities and choices. There are two types of anthropogenic hazards. They are environmental degradation and technological hazards. First, environmental degradation is the deterioration of environment through depletion of resources such as quality of air, water, and soil. Examples of these are the destruction of ecosystems because of deforestation, habitat destruction, the extinction of wildlife, and pollution. Second and last, technological hazards. From the word itself, technological, it comes from man-made objects malfunctioning that may threaten life and properties. It may include industrial pollution, nuclear radiation, toxic wastes, dam failures, transportation accidents, factory explosions, fires, and chemical spills.
Hello everybody, I'm Lorenz, Miguel, Roda, and I'm here to discuss about quasi-natural hazards. Quasi-natural hazard. Quasi-natural hazard refers to those hazards that occurs due to the interaction between the activities done by the humans and the various types of natural processes that takes places on the surface of the earth. For example, smog and desertification.
Good day everyone, I'm Gyro Gelvero, and now we're gonna talk about factors that increases hazard risk. So now, let's start. Hazards can be classified in a variety of ways, but they are always either due to the natural process or induced or influenced by human activities. Hazard risks are increasing due to the growing population, where the number of people on the planet is growing. So more people are exposed to natural hazards, meaning more death and damage are likely. Next is due to the increasing urbanization, where more people live in cities. That means more people are affected by a natural hazard in the area. Same with it is location. Most large cities are on the coast, so people are more exposed to hazards such as hurricanes and tsunamis, and human-induced changes in the environment. Examples are the deforestation that makes hillside more unstable, so landslides are more likely in earthquakes or from heavy rain. Then the global warming that is caused by humanity too, by us. It increases the number of natural hazards such as hurricanes, floods, and droughts. Moreover, hazard risk increases too because of the frequency and magnitude of the natural hazard. Next is there's a decrease in the number of people capable of coping with the natural hazard. The consequences of these hazards will have social, economic, and environmental impacts. The risks depend on the decisions and actions people take, rather than inducing hazard risk, especially for the nations with poor coping capacity. Global citizenry and responsibility on risk reduction should be practiced. Understanding hazards, their origins, and types are the first among the steps towards eliminating or reducing hazard risk. Always remember that it is better to stop something bad from happening than it is to deal with it after it has happened.